Okay, my name is Dawn, and I'm going to show you a couple things about how to make doll bodies. Just some things that I think people are having trouble with. Not that anybody does anything bad or poorly. I just think that maybe they just don't know how. So here's something that I chose to make a doll body out of. And I'm going to show you how to remove the head. I've removed part of it, but that's only part of it. Um, I just wanted to point out that when you have a doll, like a personal doll head, your doll head, if you look at it, has a neck on it. It already has one there. So when you do your doll body, you don't really need to leave that part because it's on your doll head. You can take your doll body, and how I do it is where the collarbone is, you want a natural neckline. So where the collarbone is, I usually try to go just a little bit above it and go straight across. And some of them are easier to do than others, don't get me wrong. This one's a fairly easy one to do. Excuse me. You want your feather for your lasso tool to be set at 1. That's going to give you the smoothest edge right here. So after you get that selected, you want to hit the delete key on your keyboard just one time. Any more than that and you're removing too much of the picture, and it'll make it look worse. So that's how to do that. Now this one's a fairly easy doll body. It's going to be a real quick, simple one. You want to create another layer, and you want to put your layer palette to have this color in it, which is, it's what I use. You can use it or not, try it, whatever. The number is FF9C52, and it's a doll palette that I got from Onyx, I think about 12 years ago or something, when she was making dolls and started to teach people how to do it. I think I've used it forever. Anyhow, you take your model and you zoom in as much as you need to, and you can, you know how to adjust your screen and do whatever. But you go around the part that you're going to color with the skin tone. And the feather on my lasso tool is still set to 1. I don't ever change that setting because I just think it looks better when I do it this way. But you just kind of, and it doesn't have to be perfect, quickly go around. You want as much detail as possible, but to a degree you can control what detail gets seen, and not a lot of people realize that they can do that. It doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. You can make it into anything you want. I'm going to show you in just a second. So there's my selected area. I'm going to flood fill that layer with the skin tone. I'm going to take the opacity of the skin tone layer down to about 75 because I like the strength of that color, and that it still shows a little bit of the detail through, so it's going to look like a person, not just a big blob of orange color. But if you look at where I did the selecting around the dress, you can't really tell that I messed it up, because I didn't really mess it up. I made the edge look the way I wanted the edge to look. That's the only difference, really. Now at this point you're going to want to merge your layers, and you want to merge them visible because you want your doll body to still be transparent. You want to resize this because at 100%, this is obviously, if you look at these heads and you look at that doll body, this is obviously too big for these heads. These heads would look like they went to a voodoo ritual and things went badly wrong. So you need to take one of these heads, and I'm just gonna pick one and take it off of here. These are my personal heads that Gabby made for me. I purchased these from her. I'll have her link in the information box. I'm going to copy one of them, and I'm going to put it into this as a new layer, okay? So at 100%, the head looks really nice. The body, obviously, way too big. Obviously. So you want to take the body layer and make sure it's selected, and you want to go Image, Resize. And I'm going to try about 40%. And the trick to this is you want to uncheck where it says Resize All Layers. There should be no check mark there. Then the magic happens, and when you hit OK, it only resizes that layer. Now, obviously, I've resized it too much. So we're going to undo it. And we're going to go Image, Resize, and we'll try 55% because that looked way too small. Again, don't check this because that's going to mess the whole thing up. Hit OK. And hey, wait a minute, that looks better. Let's look at that and see what that looks like. That's pretty close. But I think it's a little small. So we're going to go Undo, Image, Resize, and we're going to go to 60% and hit OK. And we're going to look at that. Now I think that looks better. I think that's perfect. Because it's all about what, you just need to eyeball it and decide what looks good, in your opinion. And I think that looks good. I think that the head looks proportional to the body. The arms don't look like they're hanging to the floor as opposed to where her head is at. She doesn't look like she went to a voodoo witch doctor and things went horribly wrong. It just looks well proportioned. I see a lot of doll bodies that are too big. I see a lot of doll bodies that are too small. I've made a lot of doll bodies that were too small. But 10 years ago, the heads were smaller. Well, actually, the hair was smaller. And ladies, when you like big hair, that's the whole point of having that doll head, because it has big hair, not because it has a big head. Just because you make your hair big, does that make your head any bigger? Not really, it just makes your hair big. And when you have a doll body, you want your hair to look big, but you don't want your face to look small. If you can understand what I mean. And vice versa. So I hope this helped somebody, and if you have any questions, leave a comment. Thanks. Have a nice day.